So our question for today, how can you quiet your mind? If you've ever had acid indigestion or heartburn, you've probably taken Tums or Rolaids to treat it. If the problem becomes chronic, then you'd be looking for something like Tagamet or even Prilosec to treat it. And the rationale for using those two is because they stop the problem before it happens, so it essentially never manifests. Now, last week I talked to you about the concept of redirecting your thoughts. So when your thoughts turn negative, if you had a trigger, which the suggestion we used was a rubber band around your wrist that you could snap, that would act as a trigger to redirect your mind to start to think about things that are more positive. Now, that's an example of using Rolaids or Tums to treat your stomach. It's effective, and you bring it on after you're feeling the symptoms. But if you want to prevent it altogether, the way to do that is to figure out how you can quiet your mind so you can disconnect from thinking. And this is something that a lot of us do when, let's say, we're in physical activities. It happens for me when I'm skiing. I am focused on the moment and nothing else. For some people, it's gardening. Other people, it could be mechanical. But the key is to have that one outlet to clear your mind. Now, one of the challenges in doing this is, can you do that every single day? And the answer for most of us is probably not. So then the next question becomes, what can you do every day so that you can become the observer of what's going on around you? And the key is to figure out a way to disconnect, okay? And to change the perspective of what you're dealing with. And let me give you an example of what I mean. Let's assume you're having a tough day. You sleep through your alarm, you get out of bed, and as you're walking out of your room, you land in something that's wet and warm. And you realize your dog peed on the floor and you just walked into it. And then you continue through your day, you finally get it all cleaned up, you get out of your house, you're very, very late, so you are flying to work. And unbeknownst to you, you come to a school zone, there's a police officer sitting right there, and he gets you doing 35 and a 15. It's a huge ticket, and now you're even later. And then you get to the office, and you go to log onto your computer, and you are logged out. It won't take your password. And you're trying to find your IT person, and they are nowhere to be found. And right in the midst of all this hysteria, you get a phone call from a very good friend of yours. And your friend proceeds to tell you that his spouse was just diagnosed with cancer. Then you look back at your day and you realize that everything you were worried about, everything you were stressing over is insignificant relative to what your friend just told you. That is what I mean by perspective. And if you're able to disconnect from your thinking, if you're able to take that time to be the observer of your thoughts, to take that step back and change your perspective, it puts everything in line. And so the suggestion for you, 10 to 20 minutes a day, find a place in your house that's relaxing for you, sit, close your eyes, and just focus on your breath. And if you're having a difficult time focusing on your breath, just count. Breathe in, 1. Out, 2. In, 3. Okay, and just count as you go. And as the thoughts start to come into your mind, just observe them and let them go. And if they're persisting, just focus on the counting again. And every time they start to come in, start back at 1. And you'll keep yourself on task. And if you can do this every day, either when you wake up or before you go to sleep, I will tell you that not only will you sleep better, your stress level will be lower, you'll probably end up living longer, and you'll be a heck of a lot more fun to be around. So take these concepts, integrate them into your life, and just find that 10 minutes a day to disconnect from thinking, put yourself in a different perspective, and make it happen.